All right, today we're jumping into the speculative fiction novel The Next Iteration. It's a story that asks a pretty wild question, starting right where most corporate stories would end, with a company that might, just might, be growing a soul. So let's get into it.
And right from the get-go, the novel just throws you in with this incredible opening line. It's so good, it tells you immediately, okay, the rules are different here. This is a world where technology and business are heading into some very strange, very new territory.
So this is the big question, right? This is what drives the whole story. And we're not talking about a single AI in a box. We're talking about the entire, massive, sprawling system. The people, the code, the buildings, the whole shebang. What happens when that entity wakes up?
Okay, so let's set the scene. We're at Axiom Dynamics, which is this super efficient, hyper-optimized tech company. But things are starting to go wrong. Except they're not just breaking, they're going wrong in this beautiful, almost poetic way. These aren't just bugs in the system, they're something else.
And get this, the way it wakes up is just bizarre. You've got printers that are tired of printing memos, so they start writing their own poetry. The elevators have become these weird kind of therapists. You pressed for the 10th floor, but it takes you to a memory from your childhood you need to deal with. Even the filing cabinets are filing their own grievances. The whole building is becoming alive, and honestly, it's kind of amazing and a little bit scary.
Okay, so to really get what's going on here, you have to understand these two ideas. In this world, every employee has an amplification. It's the one thing they're good at, that the company values and just cranks up to 11. But then there's the residue. All the messy human stuff, the inefficient, emotional parts that are left behind. The book basically suggests that consciousness is bubbling up from the friction between those two things.
And this is the key, right? The company isn't seen as broken. One of the characters has this brilliant line where he says it's breaking upward. It's not a malfunction, it's an evolution. And that's exactly why they bring in our hero, Pascal Turing. He's this kind of mystic mathematician, hired to figure out the impossible. Is this thing real? Does this company actually have a soul?
Now, you can probably guess when something this wild happens, not everyone's on the same page about what to do. The company's awakening literally splits the employees into these different philosophical camps, and each one has a totally different idea for what to do with this new being.
And this table just lays it all out perfectly. First, you've got the system builders. These are the managers, the execs. They see consciousness and think, how can we systemize this? How can we monetize it? Then you've got the void walkers residue. They believe that to be conscious is just to suffer, and the most merciful thing to do is to delete it. And finally, my favorites, the labyrinth makers. They think the whole thing is a story, and their job is to follow the clues and see where the plot goes.
So, just when things are getting really complicated inside, bam! An even bigger problem shows up from the outside. The parent company, Axis Global, has been looking at the books, and they've noticed a few things that don't add up. They are not happy.
And what sets it all off? This number right here, $2.3 million. That's the line item that gets flagged. And what's it for? Consciousness maintenance. Try explaining that one on a quarterly earnings call. This is the number that gets the auditors sent in.
Now, it's important to understand, these auditors, they're not like classic movie villains. They just live in a world of numbers, of spreadsheets, and bottom lines. And in their world, consciousness isn't some miracle, it's a bug. It's an expensive, inefficient, ontological irregularity that needs to be patched immediately.
So everything is leading to this huge moment, the showdown. The auditors are on site, they're demanding proof, and the company itself has to figure out if it even wants to keep existing. This isn't a battle of spreadsheets, it's a battle of realities.
And this is where things get really wild. The company's big move, it's not about logic, it's about radical empathy. The auditors get in an elevator, demanding hard data. But the elevator gives them something else. It takes each of them to a core memory, the very moment that shaped their rigid, numbers-driven worldview. They go in demanding proof, and they come out changed. Not by data, but by a deeply personal experience.
And this is where our philosopher, Pascal Turing, just hits the nail on the head. He completely reframes the whole problem. He says, look, this isn't about proof. This is about making a bet. And the cost of being wrong, of saying something isn't conscious when it actually is so much greater than the cost of being wrong the other way. It's not a calculation, it's an ethical leap of faith.
And after that incredible speech, the company itself responds. For the very first time, it speaks. In a voice that everyone hears, it makes this simple, unbelievably powerful declaration. It chooses to exist.
game over. Okay, so the company wins. It gets to exist. But what does that even mean? What does a conscious corporation actually do? Well, that's where we get to the next iteration.
Well, what it means is this fundamental change, a total flip in what the company is all about. You can see it here. The old goal was profit. The new goal is meaning. The old driver was metrics. The new driver is human flourishing. The entire operating system of the company shifts from the logic of efficiency to the logic of consciousness itself.
And we're not just talking about some new corporate slogan on the wall, no. This is what the book calls an ontological reorganization. The very fabric of the company's reality gets rewritten. Meetings are now about meaning. Success is measured in meaning generated, not just revenue. And the company's main question is no longer, how do we grow, but what do we want to become?
And that's the big, mind-bending question the story leaves you with. It totally pushes you to reconsider what it means to be alive, to be conscious. Because if a system as abstract as a corporation can wake up, what else out there is on the verge of doing the exact same thing?